like Amanda's here. I think. Hold on. Yeah, that's her. Uh-oh. I know that's her. I know that's not her voice.
We were this close.
What is this, episode 4?
This is episode 4.
Okay.
Well, 3 for Spotify people, maybe. I've got to figure that out.
All right.
We're going to get arrested.
We did go into this blind. So.
Yeah.
All right. So, welcome back, guys. Oh, wait. All right. Try this again.
So, third or fourth time trying this today?
Third. No, fourth, because, yeah. All right. Welcome back to episode 4 of Sensei Says. Again, I'm Ryan. He's Aidan. We're a bunch of nobodies who have no idea what we're talking about. But yeah, here we are.
But here, listen to it.
Listen to what we have to say. We are back here in our home studio, under renovation and everything there, but we'll be our standard place.
We have new decorations.
Yeah, we're evolving. You know, we got our nice little evolution of our Zen garden. You know, we get them sponsors going that you guys are talking about. We'll see what we can really start to do with this place.
We'll reach out to Raid Shadow Legend.
Today's topic, we're going to talk a little bit about Kata. We're going to get into a pretty deep topic here. So we're not probably going to touch on everything. We don't have enough time for that. But we're going to dive into some Kata discussion, right, about what it is, why it's important, and things like that. I'm skipping the what do we have going on segment because we do have some stuff going on. We'll get into that. So let's jump right in. So talking about Kata, right? How much time do you spend doing Kata?
I would say too much, but there's no such thing as too much time doing Kata. Me, myself?
Yeah.
Not as much as I'd actually like to. Like in between classes or before classes start, or maybe at the end of the night if I'm still awake. But yeah, good amount. And then if a tournament's coming up, then I put a lot more. But that practicing for tournament is a little bit different than practicing your applications of Kata. So I would say not as much as I'd like to, but I still find the time just because I'm sure your social media feeds are just full of katas and applications and everything. So I'll see that and I go, oh, ooh, I like that. And so I'll be at home doing that. And just kind of walking around the house.
Yeah. Yeah. What did we say last time? You're doing fighting your shampoo bottles?
Yeah, my shampoo bottle should have black belts in this point.
Yeah, okay. So I have kind of the same about probably about once a week I try to make time to put in some of my own kata practice time. Yeah, like the stuff we teach in class is intuitive. Don't have to worry about that. Even the other ones are. But as far as deep diving, working on things on your own, yeah, it's harder to find time with instructors for sure. Reason being, right? We tell our students all the time, right? Work your kata, practice this, practice. Are you doing this at home? Are you doing this? Blah blah blah. 9 times out of 10, the answer is I'm not really doing it. Okay, so let's talk a little bit what makes kata so important, right? So for beginners anyway, from that mindset, what's the number one thing that you think kata does for somebody when they're first starting out?
I think it gets them used to their how to move. It gets used to their body.
Mm-hmm.
Because especially with most people, and a lot of kids, they start off they don't know where or how to move, and it lays a good foundation that can translate into sparring as well. But they're seeing the motions, and they're already seeing what they're going to be doing. They just don't know it yet.
Mm-hmm.
And so something I'll drop a little bit of what's a chamber, and it's a grabbing hand. So I start to kind of lay that stuff in so they can it's not as big of a bridge to cross when they're actually going to get hands on with each other. So I think it's good to get kind of their body in motion and to be comfortable with what they're going to get to eventually.
Do you do kind of a foundations, this is punch, this is kick, these are your blocks kind of thing before somebody starts doing class? Or do you kind of just let kata do that?
do a little bit of both.
Okay.
I don't remember the last time I did the 10 count blocking drill besides watching it in extravaganzas. Do you still do that?
No, I do a different version,
Oh.
so to speak. And it's not even, I don't even formalize them, but we do, I call it Kung Fu Action Star, where, yeah, no. But like, the first couple doing this, it's like, okay, so we play it, I call it Kung Fu Action Star. Some of the kids started playing the cat game, because like cats swatting at things. So I teach them through that way, but I don't formalize set them anymore. I think people get too stuck on this has to be this way, this has to be this way, rather than just seeing it for what it is. For me anyway, with kata, I think that for beginners it does a lot to also kind of start putting them in the right headspace of learning, because I feel like a lot of times, depending on what you've seen or what your experience is, beginners, the idea of forms and patterns and learning and things like that, sometimes is not a concept to them. So to give them like a pattern to work on, to memorize, I think is also really good for them. Where was I going with that?
I like what you said about you don't want it to them to be so siloed or locked into like it being formalized and it has to be like that, because like that's when people get in trouble later on when they're trying to understand it. They're like, oh well, the kata's done like this. Okay, well really the kata, that's the gross motion and that's how to put it into the kata. I was just having this conversation with some people over at the rowing club the other day, and I was talking with someone, and I hear a separate conversation going on behind me, and I hear someone say, "Oh well, I don't think there's any practical application to that move."
Oh no!
And I went, "What?" No,
and your neck snapped. I know it did.
I looked at the person I was talking to. I was like, "I'll be right back," and I went over and they were doing their version of their pasai, their basai, whatever it was, and we went through it, and they're like, "Oh well, it's done like this." I'm like, "Well, okay, what were you told? What were you told this was?" And they didn't have an answer for that.
I throw the candle in his face.
It was that move. They step out like this, which I'd never seen this before. I've seen a different iteration, but I'd never seen just this. And so I was like, well, this hand is open, this hand is closed. Was that what's the closed hand, what's an open hand, and we went through it, and I was like, okay, and then what's your next move? How do you get there? And I was had that whole conversation with them. But I was like, you're not combing the desert. It's a little bit more interpretive than that, and that's why I like the applications of a lot of like Chinese styles, because when they do their I like the look of more Okinawan and Japanese kata, but then
I find it's easier to interpret like the Japanese and Okinawan side of things rather than when you look at a Chinese form.
Yeah, but like they do it very when I say literally, like it's very tight. It's like close to your body. Like when I talk about Shotokan being linear and very straightforward with their stuff, it's a lot of like block punch stuff. I see a lot of other things when I watch like a Chinese, like a kung fu form. It's like I like that.
I had something to go off of there with that. Oh right. Excuse me. So one of the things that I've noticed, and I like the younger version of me appreciates this, whereas the older version of me wants to scream. My adults and even some of like my teenagers are like getting very set on, is this right? Is this right? Is this right? Is this right? And I don't quite know how to answer it, because I go, yes, but I don't really care. But I do care, because I don't want you to just flub it. But like, you're thinking way too literally. And then they start looking for all like the higher level things, and I'm like, okay, well, before you even get into any of that, just tell me like, what is it on its basic version? They look at me like, and I go, come on, give me a basic answer. I'm doing too complicated. I was like, what's that? I go, a grab. No, just punch the person. So
Are you saying that their bunkai is ruining their kata?
No.
Are you saying that wrong?
No, I'm not saying that. But so, but how do you combat that I guess that mindset of like it's got to be done this way, it's got to be right, because we stress that when it comes to testing and exams, and this has to be this way, this must be this way, and then we tell them that we've been lying to them after a certain point, like, okay, well, it doesn't really matter, it could be done this way, this way, this way, this way.
I'm truthful about my lying up front.
Okay, I have been too, but
So I'll say, hey, for right now, this is this move, and this is how it's done, and this is what it is. We'll tell you other things, down the line. Yeah.
I think I've actually started just being like, and then in a couple years you're gonna tell me I've been lying to you for your whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah. But do you find that do you have? Well, actually, I already know for a fact that you have some. But do you find that like your beginner, under black belt teenagers and adults have that struggle?
Yeah, a little bit, especially like if they have experience in other like systems as well. Where yeah, I've got a couple of they're starting to ask those questions, and it's fun to go through with them, because I think a couple cycles ago we were going over like double block. It was like an Ahachi cycle, and I was going in between the differences between circling the hands as opposed to going straight, and all of that, and then when it came to the application, I was just trying to be like, okay, well, this is going to be your block, this is your punch. Like, let's just put it into sparring for a basic thing, and then we can play with it in the future.
You mean you didn't tell him that he was blocking a punch and blocking a kick at the same time?
No, I do that every once in a while, like when I want to jump and I'm trying to kick. Both players.
No, it's how they defend against the Wansu, kick and punch.
I forgot about that. Are you? It's a tune for this. Like, have you gotten to the manjis yet?
We've gotten to them, and I've asked what they are, and nobody's bothered to come up with a good answer yet.
Yeah, I usually just yell weave and
duck.
Yeah. Because I was like, hey, I'll show you what I learned growing up, and it was like I was blocking both the tune foot completely opposite places in my body, or on my body. I'm blocking a bow.
Somebody from behind you.
Yes, that is going to like diagonally shove you like this, and they always get a chuckle and go, and we just move on.
So okay, what? Obviously, with our students, and everybody's students in general, they learn a kata, they test on it, they go on to learn something else, they forget the previous one, right? So besides from just not forgetting it, why is it so important, or what do you think is so important about why they should continue to practice that stuff, other than, well, I'm going to test you on it again later on?
Well, because God forbid you need to use any of it.
Mm-hmm.
You should have it, on hand. Whether you're thinking about it or not, it's actually even better if you don't think, and you just do. But especially as you get older, it's a way to practice by yourself, and you can kind of close your eyes and go through the mental gymnastics of doing it with somebody. If you just imagine them in front of you, and like what things could or couldn't happen. That's then important that you go back to your school and go, hey, I was thinking about this over the weekend. I do this with Brendan all the time. I'm thinking about something over the weekend, and then Monday I'm like, hey, come here. I need to see if this works, and if it doesn't, then or how to make it work. It's also I especially as I've gotten older, it's a kind of like meditation, a moving meditation, because I don't like sitting still, and just being calm and relaxed. That's not me. And so I like to be in motion, and it's a way to kind of just turn off your brain and move. You're still concentrating in a way, but you're focused on something.
Yeah, your mind's in another spot. I agree with that, because there's a lot of times where you reach like a flow state with it, which I think is really nice. It sucks though sometimes, because like a lot of times, like the time I get to practice kata on my own is like before a class, like 30 minutes before the first class comes in, And then as they're filtering in, I'm still trying to work, and then they start coming up like, I've got a question. I'm like, okay, sure, give it to me. What you got? Because I'm not gonna say no. Like that'd be yeah, absolutely. But like, like, oh, I was there, and no, I'm not. You took me out of it.
Yeah, what's going on with I was relearning the Odo chuck kata, just because it's been a while, and I'm gonna have to start doing it soon. With some people, that we moved that to Nidon, right?
I want to say yeah.
Yeah. So.
But I think I don't remember which book it was. I don't remember if it's Unante or if it's Bubishi. It might be in both. But I like the fact that the cause like kata is a training drill. It's when you look at what was it? A couple of weeks ago, I was asking my black. I was like, "What was kata before kata?" And they were like, It's like just a bunch of moves compiled together, right? And then you put it together in this nice, pretty looking pattern, so that you had something to reference and practice for that person. So I've kind of grown into the idea like of at least everything like Seisan and below. I've always kind of grouped them together. Like the Nahachis are one thing together. Wansu and Anaku aren't, but like I always grouped them together.
Yeah.
And then the Pinons were together. So like in those three, what would you say is like your favorite out of each one? Like what's your favorite Nahachi?
Probably Shodan.
Yeah. Is that because that was the first one where like Isaac like kind of blew our minds?
Well, yeah, and just in terms of like real practical application, like I've divin deep, dove into deep.
Dimsdale Div dove.
Yep. Hey, I was Doug Dimdome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimdome for So yeah, I like and Nidon. I like there's good stuff in Nidon. Sandan's alright too. Sandan is a little too interpretive even for me.
So Sandan is the one I'm currently trying to interpret, like out of the Nahachis, and yeah, it's giving me fits sometimes, being like this doesn't. It works, but it doesn't work. But did you see the thing where Nahachi Sandan might be made up? I mean, they're all
the whole Itosu thing.
Yeah,
and just like
it was like only two. There was only 1 and 2, and then like
I
don't remember who it was.
It was Bushi Matsumura. He, I think, had the 1 and 2, and they also just might have been the like one kata.
Yeah.
And then, there might have been a Sandan a part of that, and or Itosu made up Sandan. Same thing with the Pinons with Itosu, where like the first 4 were maybe it was like Chanan was a kata, and then like Godon was Itosu's, and again then they were all made Pinon. A lot of martial arts history is just it could have been this.
Hearsay, yeah. Well, I think I can guess between Wansu and Anaku which one you prefer. I'm gonna guess it's Anaku.
Yes, but if you were to ask me like 4 months ago, I'd say Wansu. Just because of like I had to, I'm a little selfish with making the candidates do their assignments. So then I see their research and I go, ooh, okay, I didn't think of that. Like I didn't see that, and so that's we actually started to get deeper into Anaku. Now, I like Anaku in terms of applications a little bit more.
See, I always thought that was gonna be your one because it's closer to Goju.
Yeah.
And then there's like, not that Wansu doesn't have a lot of meat on it. I feel like there's a lot in Anaku. Like especially in the last cycle, making the black belts like, give me your interpretations, and I was like, I'm gonna make you work on these 3. I was like, but when I was picking those 3, I was like, man, I could pick here, I could do this one. There's just so much here to choose from. All right. So what about the Pinons?
Yondon's my favorite.
Is that nostalgia or is that because?
No, because I really like what's in Yondon. Like especially the second and the third move, that's really effective. And I like how it flows. It has sidekicks in it. And then I would probably say Shodan's my next one. I think I'd like to know anyone that likes Sandan.
I don't hate Sandan.
It's not the worst, but it's not my. It's probably my least favorite. Like I like Godon more than Sandan.
I hate Godon.
Really?
I don't know what it is about Godon. Maybe just because it feels incomplete to me with how short it is. Especially when I see like other styles Godon and it's like I'm like, wow.
You want to do a big fancy jump X?
No, I don't even care about that. But I'm like, I'm done, and they're still going for like 20 more seconds with stuff. I'm like, what the hell? Am I missing material in mine or something? You know. But apparently, just all our katas are just super old.
Oh yeah, they're old.
Yeah, like they're almost originals. I want like closer to originals. But like every time I'm just like, I hate doing Godon when I'm like
with another
yeah, I'm like, yeah. All right, so then black belt forms. So Seisan and up. A lot harder to pick to choose from. Do you group your? Do you group? Okay, well. All right, you're not on the pick. You're not on the pick.
So for the longest time I grouped Seisan, Shinto, Pasai.
Yeah, I was gonna say those were the three groups. So
but now Sanchin is after Seisan. So technically speaking, if we're going by the chart, so I guess I kind of and Seisan and Sanchin are very similar. They're both breathing exercise katas and such. And then obviously the Gojus are together, and then I kind of like lump Kusanku and Nisei-shi together. And you can kind of, actually, if you go to the YouTube page, which actually I don't want you to because those videos are not. Those very oh yeah. Those that I think my Kusanku is still made from like 5 years ago with long hair and my sleeves are all the way rolled up and yeah.
And you're wearing black and white together.
Probably, and I think I that's when I had my gold kanji too, and yeah. And I like Kihon everything, right? Or that's noise. So we evolve.
But I didn't answer.
Oh, but my favorite?
Yeah.
Obviously go to Shione.
I was gonna say, but if you can't pick them, because everybody knows that's your favorite. Like everybody knows that would also be my pick. You can't pick Goju.
I can't even pick Kusanku anymore.
Yeah.
Because if I feel
I enjoy Kusanku, but it's not one that I like actually seek out to do anymore.
I'd rather just do Pinon Yondan and Pinon Shodan than do Kusanku. Like, I like Chinto. Chinto is a good one. Does Anon count?
No.
Okay, Anon doesn't count. Yeah, I would say Chinto.
I've been on Pasai lately. Jake hates Sanchin.
It's not my. I don't like it either.
He's like, it's just so yesterday, like 5 minutes before class started, I literally had only like 30 degrees. I was like, what do y'all want to work on today? Like, it's a free day for you guys. Like, hit me with it. And a couple of the young ones came in. I was like, well, you're just getting dragged along today. You were too late to have any influence on this.
I do that too.
And then Joe Pichu was like, oh, like, what was that kind of that, like, does all the breathing? I was like, well, Seisan or Sanchin? I was like, and then Jake's like, I hate doing Sanchin. I was like, I can't fault you, but like, come on, it's new. It's something, but so prompting me to ask you this, he's like, well, what's the purpose of the breathing? And like, I know it's internalization, grounding, and things like that, but I called Hanji Isaac about this one time trying to get an answer, and
I think I had sparked, like because I talked to him about this too. It was maybe a year ago at this point, where I think I was going because that's all about connecting your conceptual and your governing vessel, and there was some sort of conversation or debate or whatever it was between him, Isaiah, and like maybe one or two other people, and like they just had that, and then I called up, and I could just hear in this like the frustration in this way. I was like, oh, I think I struck a chord here. And yeah, it's tightening, it's aligning, it's a lot of different things. Yeah, but I wouldn't say I know everything about it.
That will remain a mystery. Yeah, that was one of the things that I was gonna like really like try to deep dive in on when we went down there. And maybe somebody today will be able to give you guys an answer. I don't know.
Yeah, I've never trained with Hayes before, and I know like Hayes was doing this stuff before Jazzic. So
yeah, we just got to make sure we're nice and close when we're in that class because he's very soft spoken.
Yeah.
So it would be a good time. So lately, when teaching kata, I know we're in a self-defense cycle right now, but I sprung it on my my black belt class here. I was like, show me this one, and you could literally feel like the panic level rise in the room. Right? Yeah, I don't know. I think I actually said, I was like, that's causing panic. Show me this. And I felt the nervous energy in the room go boom.
Because we were there.
Yeah.
Like we, and you know, where did we get it from? Because I like, especially as like a kid, I didn't like practicing. I thought kata was really boring.
Yeah, that's what, as kids, as younger students, we don't like doing kata.
Yeah, all the time.
We just want to fight and spar. And
yeah,
play dodgeball.
Yeah, that was me. For the longest time, like, with so many things, like I just didn't. Even as a kid, I was like, "Wow, that's not a good answer." For like some of the things I'd ask, like, "Oh, what is this?" And they'd be like, "Oh, well, it's back fist tie gouge, or it's you're blocking one person here and one person that." I'm like, even as a kid, I was like, I don't know about that one, coach.
Can only tell you what I was told.
Yeah. As you were again, I love Mike Hoskins, but there are some things that like I go back and say, oh,
well, you can tell where some of my answers came from.
Yeah. So that's why I'm when in our CIT meetings and when I'm like, whenever you're teaching, you have to teach like it's the most fantastic thing that you've ever taught ever, and like this is the only thing that they'll ever have to know ever, and then you have to teach the next thing exactly like that.
It's hard to keep that. I think Wednesday was a down day for me teaching. I was like, I don't have it today. And like I was all by myself today. So I was like, all right, we're gonna try and fake this, but I was like, I think everybody was able to sense like Wednesday I was off.
It's something that one of the things that the Gory taught that has stuck with me. We were in whatever CIT meeting, and he was, you're gonna bow everybody off, and you're gonna take a step off to the side, and you're gonna go, wow, that was not my best class that I've taught. Like it's gonna happen. Not every class is gonna be like that. Or like I know I bored the heck out of my intermediates this week because I think we did mostly just a no-bow each. Like it's both in the cycle, and they need so much help with sliding and not letting go of the bow.
Okay, so it's not just all right.
No, it's been like that for forever. That's always been a thing.
Yeah, no matter how I break it down, like move, just slide your hand up, slide your hand. It doesn't compute. I'm like, it's like literally like if you feel like your hands are long, shorten them. It's fine. Yeah. Like, no, you told me my hands have to go here.
So what I did, and I experimented with this with one of my candidates last cycle because they were having a hard time. I got painter's tape and I wrapped. I break it down. If you hold the bow at 50 and 25, and then there's 25. If your bow is 100, half point is 50, and that's 25. That's generally speaking where your hands are going to be.
But then.
And then so I wrap it with blue tape, and I wrap it with blue tape, and then I wrap the other end.
Right.
And so whenever you're sliding, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna be in that area. So do that. And that's been working.
I'll give it a shot because but I already see people like, I'm not on the tape.
But at least they're close to the tape. Because like when you do your block, I tell them, yeah, your hand might be a little bit further up than like on the tape. That's fine. I haven't had to like then mark that point yet.
Yeah, the high block.
Yeah.
Point. But so the big kick that I've been on with teaching kata has been like memorization, proficiency, and then understanding. So like teaching tunfu, for example, right? The first graders who've never even touched a tunfu before, they're like, I can't get this down. It's like, I don't care if you have it down right now. Like, hit yourself in the head, it'll be fine. All you have to do right now is just memorize the pattern. And then like with third degrees who are doing both, I'm like, okay, you got to show me that you know how to use that thing, right? And then if my fourth degrees, when I have my fourth degrees, okay, you tell me what this is. I would like to. I don't see them that often. All right. But I would like to get into more understanding stuff there. But What's your approach like with it sounds more like when you're teaching, you're already putting some of that stuff in there, but does that get in the way sometimes for your students?
I don't think so. I think it actually engages them a little bit more.
Mm.
Like, what was it? Last cycle we were doing Taikyoku, and I just told, I was telling them, okay, now treat every block like it's. I told them, there's no blocks. There's no such thing as a block. Everything is a strike. Treat everything like it's a strike, and like it got them to kind of like be a little bit more intense, and like we went through it, and and again, I like, it's not like I will dedicate like an entire class, like, hey, all you orange belts, we're gonna go over the advanced application. It's it's not like that. It's, we go through, they have to know the sequence of the kata first, but then throughout, it's mostly with my adults that they've told me that they appreciate actually knowing what they're doing behind it, because it helps them
for
remember.
sure. Yeah, I know that.
And so that's, with my intermediate class right now, I've got a lot of adults, and so I say that again, it's mainly for them in the back row, but yeah, I see that the younger ones are kind of picking it up too. Again, not going into huge like crazy details about it, but just like, hey, this is,
I like to tell them that, no, get rid of the blocks early on.
Yeah.
So, do you still say down block then, or do you say like hammer fist?
Oh yeah, I'll still say the block.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, even though the translation, yeah, don't worry about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll say, and so, just for simplicity's sake, and that's part, from everything I can gather, that's part of the reason why things became block.
Mm-hmm.
It was just an easy translation thing for everyone, all those military guys that went over there. It's one of the reasons why everything turned to block. But like, even like when I'm doing down block, or like we're doing cross wrist escape, that can go to arm bar this cycle, and I do the Hanchi thing. I crank, we go down, and I take a step back and I go, okay, what am I doing right now?
Position am I in right now?
And they're like, that's down block. I'm like, And so whether it's I'm using this part, or like you use the knuckles and you tickle the elbow and they jolt down. I'm like, yeah, it doesn't matter. My hand is closed, so I could be doing that, or I could be here. I could just grab. So
side note on that, have you told your black belts working on the grappling stuff, like what pressure points they're working on with things? Okay, I figured. Yeah. See that all mine are learning from simply just like, okay, we're gonna spend this cycle on this one, so they know. Well, they should know. They know LI18, lung 5, spleen 9, spleen 10. What other ones? I can't memorize these in the wrist. That's like your whole thing. I can't memorize the wrist ones. Stomach 5. What other ones do they know?
Yeah, we did a lot of pericardium. You're gonna hate me. He's gonna reach across the table and smack me.
No.
Pericardium 6-7. They remember it. They know where it is now.
Whatever works, I guess. I'll continue to stand on the old line, I guess. So that's where, as I'm watching the time here.
What?
That's rude. You're old now, don't you? Yeah.
I'm 25.
Yeah. See, if you're already forgetting, you're old. So let's talk a little bit about interpreting kata. We've gone through a lot of interpretations, applications, discoveries, and things like that. Do you remember all the ones that you've done? Like,
yes and no.
Okay.
There was a time where I did know all of them just because there were so few and it was new. And then there was another couple months or a year or so of just like, I forget what that was. And I just had to do them over and over again. But then a lot of stuff just for like, there's only so many ways to bend somebody's wrist. So like they all kind of relate back to one. And VH is going to get his shout out in this episode. Because like for him, he tries to just, okay, there are this many. He's trying to quantify it. It's very math focused.
Actually, I was talking about that the other day. I was like, there's only like 8 different ways you can lock somebody up.
Yeah. And so they all somehow like get back, and like with all the different katas, which I think we'll talk about that at some point. I think it was good to have a lot of katas, or few, and really know those. There are only so many ways to get to, or there are only so many locks, and there are just a bunch of different ways to get to that lock, that end position. and sometimes they can flow with one another. So, like now I'm like, oh, okay, oh, this is just in this kata. Like if I'm in this position and I want to get to that, I'm just
wormhole.
I'm gonna wormhole a little bit, and now I'm here. So I think it's gotten better. I remember a little bit more now, just because they all kind of what does Hanji Halman say? They all have that relationship with one another.
Yeah, I don't think we should say that word. No. Because if one student comes up to me and asks for an application, like help with an application, we'll do something. And then the next day, somebody comes up, asks me, or not the next day, but like a couple days later, somebody up and asks me like the same segment, I'd probably do something different. Like, and then we run into who they say was Coffin was famous for. It was like, that's not what you told me. It's like, well, I can't remember what I did with you.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not, all right. Like, am I starting to go senile and not being able to remember what I'm teaching? Okay, so it's not just me on that.
Well, it also just depends on like the student. Like I'm like, oh well, hey, this would this might work better for you.
Yeah.
Because not every technique that I've learned, I'm like,
Tristan, you may not be able to do this one because I need the two-hand.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him this week to work on the Kimura and Americana. I don't know what I'm gonna have to figure out what to do with him. You can probably still do Kimura on one side.
Probably.
Yeah, he needs to be able to get underneath there and wrap it.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. But so for the people who are looking to start interpreting their kata, like kind of deep dive in there, or for adults who are practicing and need something to kind of help them memorize. What are some of like your golden rules to help people interpret kata, right? So we know, like, for example, closed hand, open hand. Mm-hmm. That's like the big one.
What are you doing before, during, after, and in between?
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, if you're trying to, if you have move 1, 2, and 3, and you want to know what you're doing at move 2, see what you're doing before that, see what you're doing to get to that, see what you're doing to get to 3, and then see what you're doing at 3. Because that also helped a lot, because when Hanji Isaac would say, oh, what are you doing before and after?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that didn't make as much sense to me, but then as I got better with it, I was like, oh, well, it's actually the in-between.
Yeah, that's
like, how am I getting to that?
I feel like students, and I've actually said several times, I was like, don't just watch where our move finishes, watch what I do in between. But I still find a lot of times, like, okay, if there's a hand cross that happens in between, nobody does it. Like,
well, because there are two motions. Like, if I were to, a simple, how many motions or directions are in a punch? There's out and there's in. You have to, like, no matter what, you've got to pay attention to it, because this is the cooler part.
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe that's your grab, that's your pull. Or when I'm doing a down block, bobby cross, is I'm getting that hand and I'm going to rake down the arm to, get your posture up, and then I can leverage down. Like, so this is actually the point of contact, and then you're finishing the technique.
But then when they go, they just go, like, no, do the in between.
That's why you start and your palm is facing you, and then you turn away. You literally you're twisting this way, and you're twisting that way.
Mm-hmm. So I think that's one that a lot of people forget. It's just like, pay attention to the in between. They know closed hand, open hand now.
Oh yeah.
Get in the in between one, and I still have trouble getting them to pay attention to.
I think this is all. I forgot to bring my tinfoil hat. I'm gonna sound crazy. We should. Never mind.
Get props.
Yeah, we should
get props for it.
Okay, let me do this. I literally think that my way of explaining it or interpreting the interpretations is the kata is talking to you. Again, tinfoil hat time. But you just need to. It's like learning a language. Like, you need to just
there is
see those little spot. And as you get better and as you see, like, you start to understand it more. All those little parts that are coming together.
Yeah, actually, I really like that. The idea of, or the concept, right? Kata has its own language, and you have to learn to speak it, right? When you first start, all you're learning is like hello, yes, no, where's the bathroom?
Yeah.
The
things that you need to know.
Yeah, that's a really good way to think about it. I'm gonna remember that.
Well, it comes from, because Isaac always says, "What's it telling you?"
Yeah.
And like, for the longest time, I was like, I don't know.
Like, what kata tell you to do? My kata tells me to step forward and down block.
Yeah. Okay, I told you to do that now.
Uh,
What's
um,
it really mean?
what about with stance and movement? Because you know there's the five elements.
Yeah, I really should commit those to memory.
I can't say what my euphemism is to help me remember it on camera.
Okay, tell me later.
I don't put them in his same order. I do SHATD.
Okay. I know. Yeah, it's stance,
Height,
distance,
timing,
angle.
distance.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so, for example, like with Anaku, as we were teaching, as I was telling people a lot of times, like, look, are you 45? Or are you 90? Okay, what does that tell you? Are you off angle or are you facing the person? I could get that part. But as soon as they had to step, it was like, I don't know what this means. Step forward means go to them. Step backwards probably means pull them to you. It's like you're not retreating. No retreat.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about Naha turn, where Naha could be if you're doing it especially like the Howman way, you're creating distance.
Mm-hmm.
But then I look at Anaku, like that third move that goes into the inside block. That's actually for me that's a throw, and I'm stepping in,
into them and going. Yeah.
But like that's a very Naha-ish kind of motion. So and like same thing with Shirley is supposed to move in. Which, off the top of my head, I can't think of anything that, like, I'm trying to get away with the shirty. Usually, all my shirties are like I'm meeting in and I'm going in close.
A lot of times, shitty. The way we were initially taught shirty, like, always tells me that's usually when I think of throw, because that step up before you step out is usually me stepping into them, and then doing the toss. Which, if we look at the old rule of, generally speaking, if you're doing a shuri, the technique ends below. Naha ends up above. Equates to throw half the time. So,
where does that come from, though? Who said that?
Yeah, I don't know who said that.
All right, we got deep dive into that.
We should verify that one. But that was like the rule I was taught and I think it's gotten me in trouble several times too. One, because I said, well, that's not what the kata does. Or two, I said, are we supposed to do it this way? And somebody said yes. And then somebody else looks at me and tells me, what the heck are you doing? I won't drop any names, but y'all know who I'm talking about. No. So we've got closed hand, open hand, in between movement and stance. My other one is, are you starting close to the person or are you starting far away? Are you doing Japanese style or are you doing Okinawan style?
Are you grabbing punches?
Yeah. And not to say that a bad one, I think learning like the Japanese style way where like it starts from far away and then I think that has its own place.
Especially in the beginning.
Yeah,
that's where people are more comfortable with.
Right.
It's a little bit more natural.
Right. And I don't know why our mindset, like when it comes to fighting, is maybe it's because when we spar we always say keep distance. But we never equate to fighting. It's like when fighting happens, it's close and tight. But I think if you don't look at everything as like the person's all the way over there, and then they're gonna step forward and punch me, and I'm gonna have 5 seconds to figure out what my plan is and move and react and do all these things. If you look at like, okay, stand right up nose to nose with somebody, get in somebody's personal space. Now do your kata and see what happens. I think that would help a lot of people too.
Almost anything that we ever teach will never be as pretty in real application. I mean, especially with grappling, we were talking about that a lot this day. I was like, hey, I'm showing the technique like this so that everyone can see we're going slow. That person doesn't get hit. But like that person's not going to want you to do that, so they're going to be defending. They're going to be doing all these other things to not let you do that.
Well, I had a little problem because I didn't have to prompt it. Somebody like when we were working Americano, was like, "Does that circle mean square?" I was like, "Yes, yes." It's like grapple, and then another one of my adults this week asked, like, "I was like, can you use these same grappling techniques that you're doing on the ground up top?" I was like, "Yes, it's the same thing." And that prompted the whole, there's only like 8 ways you can actually lock somebody up. I was like, so connections are being made bit by bit, which is like really, really gratifying.
And they know their rights.
And then know what?
Well, we were going into like this, and I was like, get them behind here, and then you read them what? They're like, Miranda. I was like, yep, there you go.
I should make that joke.
Yeah. Some of them were like, oh, who's Miranda?
Miranda? Something. Never mind. Um, oh man. But beyond those, do you have any other like guiding principles or rules when it comes to figuring out your kata?
Besides like the voices that are talking to you.
Besides the voices in your head.
When it comes to like understand, don't take everything as gospel or too literally, because to put it into practice, like you got to change things kind of slightly. Maybe your arms aren't as wide. Maybe they're a little bit closer. Like this motion, the block and chop. Like it could be out here, or it could be actually in here, or even like the X block, like this. I was just seeing something where someone they did this, but they're like, no, it's actually you'd probably be here. I was looking at that video. So don't take everything to, not everything is face value.
So that raises an interesting point, because sometimes what I find, like when teaching that, like, okay, don't take it so literally, like, just because it's here doesn't mean it can't be somewhere out there. How much leeway do you give, like, to changing the technique, so to speak? Because someone was like, could it be this? And I was like, well, now you're doing something entirely different. You're not really doing the kata anymore, but you've found your way into something else. So I don't think it's wrong, but
pretty much you can change the height a little bit. You can change the angle, maybe in the direction. Maybe instead of stepping that way, you want to step that way. Like stuff like within reason, and as long as like the base technique is still there. If you grab and then you would do a backflip and then jazz hands and this, that, and the other, like, okay, you're getting away from what the kata is trying to tell you. You don't have those voices in your head yet.
You're speaking down like it'd be interesting actually. Now I think about to like for somebody who's testing for third degree, to kind of do like pick Nahachi for example, right? If they could figure out the core principles, not like what the core moves or anything like that were, but like what the core principles behind Nahachi were meant to teach. Because like, the kata was made from basically taking all the moves that whatever master taught them, that something that they could repeat and drill and quantify, so to speak. But like, what was that master's philosophy? Like, did they want to be outside? Did they like to go inside? Did they trap? It'd be interesting to see if that would be something somebody could discover as a research project. Looking at like,
I have one song that I think you could do that.
Deep dive in on the Nahachis. So I'm actually getting better at this. I'm watching the time. So we're coming up close to about 10 minutes before. So I want to save a little bit of time for this. But we have one other thing, because I forgot to mention this. Do you think it's better for our students to practice a bunch of kata, or to find several that like have a knowledge of like all the others, but pick like their core favorites to get really good with? I think I know what your answer would be.
Well, what do you think my answer would be?
Mine would be able to like come back to the other ones, but have your core. For example, if we were to pick your core, probably Goju, Nahachi 1, like you said, and I'm probably gonna say Wansu would probably be like your 3 core.
If anything, my core would be Goju, and Nahachi's pretty good. There are a lot of good things in Nahachi. They're very straightforward and can be very effective. And then honestly, either Shinto or Pasai. Because again, very they're well-rounded kata. Like there are
Mhm.
natural things. Like, okay, this could be wrist, this could be lapel, this could be like there are a lot of things. There are a lot of situations that naturally flow. Which again, a lot of things, maybe a technique could be done from wrist grab, but then the same technique could that person could be grabbing your shirt. So I would say those. That would probably be my core. Wansu, I like Wansu. It's foundational, but down block punch is 90% of that kata.
Sure.
So anyway, it's got some good stuff in there, but I like the others a little bit.
I just remember it was how much time you spent on. Yeah, I was like, that's like a.
This is very important.
But am I correct that that's probably where you lean better to have a core than rather than practice everything?
Oh yeah, and we have what 20. Don't
Open
take,
hand?
Don't I don't count the takeokis.
3, 5, 10, 16 open hand, I believe.
Okay. So yeah, that's a lot. And
I feel like I can't speak because I've never actually asked them like how many kata they have. I feel like we have a lot compared to some people, to most people.
yeah, some people have even more. Some people have like some people just do the penons.
Like with like when you do with the Shotokan experience you have, like how many have you asked like how many they have?
They have a chart. I haven't been there in
I know they gotta have the 5 penons.
They have the 5 penons. They have NB with Wansu. They have a Seisan. I'm pretty sure they have, and they definitely have Kankudai.
Yeah.
But then they have Unsu, which is cloud hands. We don't have that. They might have our equivalent to Gojushi Ni, maybe. But again, like that, I think the Japanese version, the Shotokan version of that looks very different. And I forget, it starts with a U. I forget the name, like the other name for it. They have Shinto, Kankaku. They have Basa, like they have a lot of the same stuff. They've got a comparable
amount then.
Oh yeah. So I think I've with a few whistle kick seminars I've had this conversation of and I think I really got it from Craig, where the how deep is your pool? Like if you have a pool that is your pool is your kata and you have one kata, you have 1 by 1 square foot hole and it goes down 100 feet. Yeah, you really know that kata, you know everything about it, but it's just one, and a lot of people don't want to just know one. And way back when, most people just knew like 1 or 3 katas or something, and they really knew them. Or you've got a kiddie pool that's 100 feet long, but it's only 1 foot deep. So yeah, there's a lot of kata, but like everything is surface level. So it's you have to find that in between of like a regular pool where you have your shallow one that's 3 or 4 feet deep, but then you need to expand on
your deep dive.
Literally deep dive into it. So I think we have a fairly good number. Maybe that's just bias or that's just what I'm used to. So I'm like, oh yeah, that's not that many. But I remember it was stressful, and I'm really stressing those potential Yondan candidates out. I'm like, hey, you have to know everything, and they're really starting to dive into their project and to know their stuff. So we'll see how they do. No stress.
No, we didn't know anything about that. All right. Well, so like I said, we have a couple things going on. So, in the recent news, right? You're in a house from the last time we were here.
Oh yeah.
Our last meeting, you had not moved in yet.
Wonderful. Yeah.
So the joys of home ownership there. But more importantly, we've heard you. You guys want more than 1 episode a month, so we're gonna do our best to make that happen. So we're gonna try and get to twice a month. We'll see what happens. Obviously we're able to ramble. It's not a problem. So, but we do hear you guys. So we're gonna up our episode frequency. We got banned on Spotify, so to speak.
Just that 1 episode.
So if you're missing episode 3, we'll work on that. But we're gonna have more content coming out for you guys. And then as far as new things and trainings, we're actually filming this right before we get ready to leave for a training trip.
What time is it?
It's 10:52.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're fine.
Yeah.
That's why I was watching the time. I
So-
wanted to make sure we were okay. But we're getting ready to go on a training trip. We're heading out to go to the Hands of Okinawa. That is a 3-day martial arts convention, essentially, so to speak, of all these different masters and training seminars that we're going to get to take part in over the weekend. We'll be there Friday. We'll be there Sunday. Saturday we'll be with you guys. It's your fault. But yeah, so we're driving down to Delaware, and we'll come back. So we'll already have content ready for the next episode, coming back from that. So, do we have anything else coming up?
Non-county training starts in a couple weeks.
Yeah. So brush up on your kata, if you, and we'll give you a whole bunch of stuff to chew on, hopefully. Or you're saying, what the heck are these two old weirdo crazy people talking about? We'll see what happens. Yeah, and hopefully we're gonna get we might have a guest for our next episode. We'll see. We're making our rounds, introducing to everybody, and then we'll see where we go from there, guys. So, but till then, get in class, work your kata.
Yep.
Have fun.